have taken a livery cab, and one of the first things you notice is the passenger bill of rights. The same thing is noticeable in hospitals, a patient bill of rights. But what about those individuals who rent apartments? Well, Councilman Fernando Cabrera wants to change that and propose legislation that would require landlords to post a tenant bill of rights in all of their buildings. The list would be simple and help tenants demand necessary repairs and fight back to those unfair landlords. Joining us now is Councilman Cabrera to give us his perspective on the bill and what exactly brought this about. Councilman, as always, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. This is a tremendous bill. And the genesis of this bill was the fact that 47% of all the constituents that come to our office do so because they have concerns regarding housing issues. And because of that, I began to realize that a lot of our constituents don't know their rights. And you can't fight for what you don't know. Someone once said, what you don't know can hurt you. That's not true. What you don't know can definitely hurt you. And so we have a bill that basically is stating that every tenant will be given in their lease the tenant bill of rights. During renewable, when the lease are renewed, and within 120 days once the bill is passed.
Now, in addition to the attachment or the addendum to the bill of to the leases that tenants would sign, is there going to be is the bill asking for there to be a posting of these rights in the buildings, as we said at the T's?
That's correct. So near the mailbox, every landlord will be required to post the tenant bill of rights. This way, we want to raise the level of consciousness. People will be able to, every day as they go to the mailbox, be able to be reminded of their rights, and also at the same time, they will be able to refer to their where they need to go in order to get help.
Now, I know that you've gotten support for your the proposed bill from a variety of individuals and organizations. One of them being the West Bronx Housing and Neighborhood Resource Center through Sally Dunford, calling the bill a great idea. But no doubt, you must have gotten some pushback from landlords.
We met with landlords. We wanted to hear what landlords have to say. Let me just say right off the bat, there are many good landlords. So this is really not addressing the good landlords. Good landlords, they're going to put this forth, but we're really after those landlords that you and I and the community know that are not fulfilling their requirements of being a good landlord. They get paid, and we pay some tremendous amount of high rent. And so this is why we met with the landlords. Some of the landlords, their concern was there's a penalty for not fulfilling their obligations. Our response is that unless there is a penalty and it goes to the bottom line, there has to be an incentive.
Now, when you say a penalty for not fulfilling the landlord's obligations, you mean? But those obligations, are they not obligations that they would ordinarily have to fulfill anyway, like providing heat and providing the proper maintenance of the buildings, etc.?
Actually, I'm referring specifically to them disseminating and giving the Bill of Rights to their tenants. So if they don't give the tenant's Bill of Rights, there's $150 fee that is going to be asked for each tenant that do not receive the tenant Bill of Rights, and $250 if it's not posted near the mailbox.
And now, this is all well and good to have a bill such as this introduced and perhaps passed at the City Council and signed off by the mayor. But how is this going to be enforced? For example, the posting of it. I mean, there have to be thousands of buildings in the Bronx, because this is a citywide thing, obviously, but just in the Bronx, where these postings will have to occur. And as I understand it, this is for buildings that provide housing for 3 or more families.
That's correct, for multiple dwelling.
Okay.
So whenever the buildings department come and they do the other inspections, this is going to be part of the inspection. So it's going to be part of the routine. Nothing's going to change in terms of, this is not just targeting a specific building just for this piece, but whenever they come and do the inspections, this is going to be an added item.
So it's not necessarily going to require an added workforce.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, the bill that you're proposing, what impact do you anticipate that it will have if it is not initiated, but carried out effectively? What impact do you think it will have as to the housing court issues that so many of the tenants currently find themselves involved in?
Well, I think that a lot of times, for example, when it comes to eviction, sometimes the landlord says, you have 2 days, get out. They're going to be able to now know, hey, listen, I cannot be evicted unless I am sued and successfully sued. And so it's going to be able to retain some of our tenants. And housing, now they're going to be able to know that if they have mold, it is the landlord's responsibility. I tell you, I do some tests sometimes, and I ask people certain questions. What temperature does your landlord is supposed to have between the hours of 6 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night? And 9 out of 10 people get it wrong. If I were to ask them, in terms of noise, who's responsible if there is noise pollution in the building, and somebody's making too much noise? And most people answer immediately. They will say the police department, but really the landlord is responsible. That's the first line of defense, is the landlord. So there are many, many rights that people really don't know because the leases, within the lease, rights that are given now, they're very complicated, Ramon. They are extremely complicated. They have a lot of what I call
legalese.
Yeah, legalese, or I call them legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, no doubt. But and maybe that's another thing that you might want to start to look at in terms of simplifying those leases and break it down into very, very fundamental language that the common person will be able to understand. And by the way, Councilman, what is that temperature that is required?
Well, the temperature, as you see in the Bill of Rights, and in its point number 2, it says right here, there must be an inside temperature of 66 degrees from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. when it's below 55 degrees outside. And if it's 44 degrees outside, it has to be 55 degrees in the other hours in the evening.
Well, Councilman, thank you for your efforts and your initiative in this regard, and hopefully it's something that will get legislated effectively and affirmatively, so that the tenants can have a better understanding and better living conditions for themselves. So
We'll make sure it happens.
thank you so much, Councilman. Always good to see you.
Likewise.